what the main part that we'll discuss today, I'm going to give you my opinions. You could take them, you could reject them, whatever you want. It doesn't make a difference. It's my opinions. I'll talk about what I consider as the job search depression, and John touched on some of it a moment ago. We'll talk about the job search process and how do you get through this process because it is a roller coaster. I will tell you that. Then the question is, how bad is it? And we'll chat a moment on that. Um, but the main thing is, how do we stay positive between our successes on where we've been and where we're going to go? What will motivate you? And once you're worn down, how do you rebound from that? And of course, now that you landed, what do you do? Because I will tell you, everyone lands. So keep that in mind, everyone. You will all land as you go through this. And then we'll just wrap it up. Okay? If there's anything else that people want to chat about, I think we'll have enough time at the end to do that. And we could have an open discussion as we go through. All right, everyone. Sit back, relax, but not too relaxed. We'll go through this and talk. First of all, I'm going to tell you my opinions on different things. Every time I make presentations, I talk about this because it really puts in context in my mind what we want to talk about. This statement, which I came up with a long time ago, and it's still relevant today, is that being in transition is really a permanent job. Landing is only temporary. This is today's work environment. Take a look at your resume. You're going to see you've worked for a number of companies. Okay. Really, what you all are, to some extent, is consultants at times. So keep that in mind. Don't expect a gold watch any longer. They're not going to happen. What's going to happen instead, you're going to be looking for another position. This was an interesting statistic I came across several weeks ago. 80+% of job leads today come from networking. Just think how big that number is. 80+% of the job leads come from networking. So in doing this, in your job search, you should have what I call ABC, to always be connecting and stay connected to those people already in your network. You want to connect to new people, and also you want to stay connected with people who already are in your network. And during your search, which is what we'll talk about today, you need ABP. Always be positive and be prepared. Excuse me. Negative and depressed people do not get hired, and opportunities occur at any time. If I could just have a show of hands, how many people, when they were in a hiring position, hired a negative or depressed person that they knew about? Do you have any takers on that? Okay. So just think about it. If you're negative or if you're depressed, it's going to be difficult landing a position. So because of that, be positive, everybody. Okay, your next success is around the corner. It only takes one. And the two most important words, which I always talk about, which I think are words to keep with you, even when you're not in transition, are these two simple words. It depends. Your actions always depend upon the situation. So you really have to think strategically and think what's going on the other side. where am I in this process? Am I late arriving where there are other candidates? Do I have to give a two-page resume? Could I give a one-page summary? It all depends on the situation. So keep that in mind. And most important, you need to believe in yourself. Okay? If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect other people to believe in you? And the last one, as I mentioned, you will land. Everyone lands as long as you work at it. Everybody lands. John was mentioning how many people I've helped over the years. I've helped, the last count I had, well, over 2,600 people I helped get back into the workforce. And those 2,600 were the people who actually told me. There are a whole bunch who haven't told me, but that's okay. When they get back into transition, they call me and ask for my help. It always happens that way. So let's talk about what we would call job search depression. Do you have it? Just think about it. Think about these things as we go through. Losing your job and searching for a new one, as John mentioned, it's a roller coaster. It's a new, challenging, and quite stressful and sometimes painful process. Feeling depressed initially is not uncommon. We all go through it. Okay. Why did they let me go? What did I do wrong? These people, they didn't understand anything about me, blah, 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 blah. Get over it, everybody. We understand it. It's part of what I call the mourning process. Mouring. Okay. We all go through this depression initially. And what do they result from? When you look at it, a couple of things. Your routine has changed. Okay. You lost control. It can be traumatic. Okay. There is definitely an uncertainty that exists. When will I find my next job? No one knows. There's a loneliness in this, sometimes feeling unwanted. And everybody wants to be liked and wants to be part of the group and want to be liked, want to be wanted. Sometimes when you look at it, your job is so important to you that when you lose it, you feel you lost your identity and your purpose. And when you start applying online and you submit your application, and then you'll see that, how many people have submitted their applications for this position. Another statistic I came across was on the rejection rate for every job posted. The rejection rate is over 250 for each job. So think about that. Another part of being depressed, your cash flow. You need to pay your bills, your obligations. We all have them. Okay. Sometimes we could offset that with some of the savings we had. Some we could offset with what the government might be giving us as unemployment. Or we might have some severance from the companies. One thing, if you have not already, I suggest you do, is to make a budget, a cash flow budget, to see where your cash flow currently is. Okay, where it's going to be next, figure 8 weeks at least, and plan it out. See where the highs and lows are. So you could try to relieve some of this stress when you know what you have to do to be able to sustain yourself. There's self-doubt and shame. Why me? What did I do wrong? Probably nothing, but they still let you go. And how will I work in the future? What will be my next role? Okay. If all of these things, or most of these things exist, initially it's not uncommon, as I said, but if they persist and you're in a funk, you might want to, seek professional help. Okay. It's really a serious situation. It could go into that. In one of my groups, we had an individual who we all tried to help. He was in a funk and he dropped out. And then I heard on the radio one day going to work that where he lived, someone walked in front of a train going to New York City. And unfortunately, it was him. So this is serious stuff at times. Be aware of it and seek help if you continue with your depression. The job search depression, things that you want to recognize, your daily routine has changed. Okay. You don't know when your search will end. Do you have the talents that you need for the challenge that you had? Or, okay, did they not see that you had the talents? As I said, this is going to take a while, generally, the search. I've been going to a number of networking groups. And as John said, I run a number of networking groups. I have seen in today's lumpy economy, as I call it, the job search process has been extended. Um, some people, it's taking 9 months. Some people, it's taking a year. Some people, even a little more. But you want to remember, it only takes one. So just, say, I'm in this process. I'm going to work it through, and hopefully it's going to end sooner than I expect. There's lots of competition out there, everybody. Okay. What you have to do is make yourself different than everybody else. And there are different ways. As I say, I do not, excuse me, I, I do not hire vanilla people. I hire the strawberries, the people who make a difference. And there's different ways to do that. How you will stand out. Why are you different than the person next to you? You got to pay your bills. Sometimes you will want to avoid social situations to hide your unemployment. I say do just the opposite. Get out there. Tell people you're up for new challenges. Okay? You're in between successes, everybody. The more people who know your situation, the better it's going to be for you. More people will talk about you, hopefully in a positive way. They will have their ears open if they hear of opportunities that they could pass on to you. They might even have the opportunities. So let a lot of people know about your current situation.
Yeah, Marty, and I would add to that. You and I have talked about this before. You know, have you made sure? If I were to ask your spouse, your partner, your aunt, your parent, what you do, would they have a short, engaging statement about what you do that would get others to want to connect with you. Make sure that all those people close to you are really equipped to be able to help. Not just that they know you're looking for a job, but they've got this nice little statement about what you might be able to do for an employer, and it will make a huge difference to you.
Very true. Very true, John. As we've said, and this is a good tip for everyone out there, on developing your elevator pitches, the best way to test out how powerful your pitch is give it to people in your family. Ask them the simple question. Could you tell me in less than 90 seconds what I do and what do I bring to the table? And it's going to be eye-opening when you hear what they have to say. And then what you could do, you'd modify it, obviously, and try to pinpoint what you really do and what value you bring to the table. And then you could craft a new pitch and then deliver it to the same people and see if they understand what you have to say. Okay. But John, you're very true. It's exactly what you say, you know. You got to be out there. You got to tell people what you do in a simple, easy way so they'll understand in a timely way. Let's talk about the ways to find a job. And this is everyone I think knows about this, but let's just talk about it real quickly. There are four ways to find a job. This has not changed, has not changed in years. Here are the four ways, everybody. Number one is networking. Number two and number three, depending upon your industry and your discipline, will be the social media or recruiters. And the fourth one, which many people do not do, which gives you an advantage if you do, is direct mail, where you write a one-page letter to a potential customer or company who you want to work for, where you have done research, they're on your target list, and you send a letter to them. And we could always talk about what that letter looks like. It's what I call my marketing letter. But that's very successful if you target correctly and you write the right things on your letter. Networking, you want to network with people you know, people you knew, former coworkers, alumni, college alumni, high school alumni, networking groups, everyday people, everyday people, the cleaners, the mailman, your religious organization, people in the hair salon. Okay. I have this story, and John's smiling because
I knew you were going to
unfortunately,
go there.
everybody talks about it. All right. I was able to receive a or become the CFO of a company through the woman who used to cut my hair. It was very simple. I used to go see her every 5 weeks to have my hair cut, made me look professional. And the day before on Friday, the company that I was working at, they told me I was re-engineered. Now, what the heck is re-engineered? And this is how it happened on Saturday morning. When I walked in at 8:30 to see Lori, she says to me, "Hey, Marty, how you doing today?" I said, "Well, today's not the greatest day, but I'm okay." And she said, what's wrong?" I said, "I've been re-engineered." And the quizzical look, she says, "What does that mean?" And I said, "My job was eliminated." As I sat into the chair and she started cutting. She said, I know you're into finance, but what do you really do? And for the next 20 minutes, I was able to tell her my role as a CFO at a number of companies, my achievements, and what I do. At the end, she says, I have a client coming later on this afternoon. Would it be okay to tell him about your situation? I said, sure. You can give him my number. And sure enough, I got a call from her client on Sunday afternoon. He wanted to know some of the things I've done. We had a discussion. Says, come to my office tomorrow. I went in on Monday. He hired me by Friday. So you never know what happens. You have to talk to everybody. When it comes to recruiters, there are lots of recruiters out there. There are a lot of bad recruiters out there too. What you want to do, you want to have on your side people you engage with, the recruiters who deal in your industry or in the role that you want. You know, I have a heavy background in manufacturing and not-for-profits. Those are two of my main uh, clients that I deal with. And if people ask me for recruiters in the accounting field, I could tell them, I have two real good recruiters I use, but they are in the manufacturing and not-for-profit field. I have someone who wants somebody, they want a position in financial services. Well, my recruiters will say hello to them, but they will never have the positions in financial services because they do not deal in that industry. So they'll have your name, but you'll never hear from them. So you want recruiters that are specific to your industry or the role you want. In social media, there's lots of things you need, LinkedIn, job boards, Indeed, AI, you name it, work it. Okay. But there's a caution. Okay. When it comes to applying online at these job boards, remember when you hit that nice blue button that says apply, it's going through the ATS system, the automated tracking system, which sets up rules to let your resume go through and they assign it values, etc. You are best, in my opinion, when you use these boards, use them to see the leads of the jobs, try to contact somebody within the company or someone in your network who knows somebody in the company or who knows somebody in the company so they could walk your resume to the hiring manager. These are the four ways to find the job, everyone. There, there are the other ways. They're not the main four, but you could buy a franchise. And in the franchise, it's not only food franchises, there are other type of franchises. If you're looking for a franchise, I have a couple of people who you could speak with who are what they call franchise brokers. They bring together people who are looking for franchises and the people who have the franchises who sell them. These franchise brokers do not charge you. They will charge the franchise or, and you get to learn about different franchises. The other ways you could, find some work, do some consulting, do some contract work, or do fractional work. Okay. Any questions so far by anyone? John, we have anything in the chat?
Nothing raised in the chat box so far, although Scott emphasized your point on your hairstyle. You said that his barber told him that he could get unemployment while he was collecting his severance, which he never would have thought to do. And so he applied the next day.
Well, see, this is what
So,
happened.
so resources as well, not just the job, but insights and resources.
Terrific. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Scott. Appreciate it.
Gene asked if you could speak a little bit more to fractional work, which I know you have a lot of experience with.
Okay, maybe we could just hold that towards the end and we'll
Sure.
come back, John. Okay,
Okay.
let's
I'll
get
make a
through
note.
this. All right. In the job search process, okay, some of the things you want to do is number one, as I said, you want to get to know yourself. You also want to know what type of role do you want? What type of industry? Where do you want to work? Do you want to work remote? Do you want to be hybrid? Do you want to be in person? Where's the place located? What type of company do you want to work for? You want to work for one of these huge, large public companies? Do you want to work for small, medium-sized companies? And you can define what you have in mind, small, medium. You want to work for a local company? You want to work for a company that has 10 to 15 people or 10,000 people? Think about it. You need to come up with a picture of the type of company or type of position you want. And this is what you could talk to other people about in your search. You want to evaluate your skills and the things that you want to do. You want to research companies and select target companies, or at least target industries. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't need to target companies. I could do my job search without targeting companies. I have a philosophy that the more target companies you have, the more focused your job search becomes because you know where you're going. And I attribute this a lot to the Wizard of Oz. If you all remember when Dorothy landed on Oz, what did she want to do? What was her ultimate goal? Anybody?
To get home.
Get home. Okay. And where was home? Come on now. This is
Kansas.
Jeopardy 2.
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. So we want to go to Kansas. We'll play a little more Jeopardy. Okay. And to get to Kansas, and think of Kansas as your role, as the job you want. You want to get to your job. Okay. And Dorothy wanted to get to Kansas, to her job in Kansas. And to do that, how did she plan on doing that? Who did she have to see?
The wizard.
The wizard. Okay, so look at the wizard of the people in your network. Okay, they're the ones going to lead you to your job in Kansas.
So you just have to find your yellow brick road to get to the wizard.
Okay, now we got there. Okay, everybody. And who's on your yellow brick road? This is your research you're doing on your target companies. So think about it that way. That's where you want to go, everyone.
So
You want to
Chris asked a question. Do you consider direct outreach that you're talking about to be part of networking?
Can we define direct outreach?
Chris, what would you define as direct outreach? Why don't you bring yourself off mute?
Yep, I just brought myself off mute. So when I think of networking, it's a lot of contiguous activities in like reaching out to the hiring manager or finding a path to the hiring manager where you can reach out and like send an email or make a phone call. Like that is like I see that as part of that. So when you say mentioning like sending a letter or direct mail, like do you consider that networking to be tied into that outreach?
Yes. Okay. But the direct mail is even further along. Well, direct mail is based upon your target companies.
Yep.
Okay. You do your research on your target companies, you see what they're doing, and then you could create a one-page letter to that company. You could send it to contacts you might have in that company, or I would send it to someone two levels above the role that you want. And in that four-paragraph letter, paragraph one would be an introduction on who you are. Take it from the summary that's on your CV on who you are. Paragraph two, develop three questions, okay, relating to the research that you have found on the company. You might want to say, I see that your organization is launching a new product. And relating to that launch of the product, I have the following three questions. Do you feel you have the expertise in your company to successfully launch that product? Do you have an adequate cash flow to assure the success of the launch of the product? And put in another question. And then next paragraph say, if the answers to the above three questions that I pose are either maybe or no, I suggest we have a, a meeting because I believe I could make them yeses. Paragraph four, I can be reached at this period of time. If I do not hear from you in about a week, I hope you don't mind. I will try to contact you directly to see if there's an interest in helping you succeed in your product launch, and then sign it. Do not include a resume.
Right.
Keep the resume out of this. Send that letter both email and hard copy. I say both because email, somebody might open it or they might have hit the button on their computer that says DEL. Okay. But if you send the hard copy, somebody's going to open it and look at it. And it's always good to have your resume come to the hiring manager from someone in the top pushing it down than from someone pushing it up the chain. You get a email from your boss, you get a resume that's handed to you from your boss or somebody higher up and says, I think you should look at this person. Is your likelihood to look at this person? Okay. So think about that. That's what I'm talking about with direct mail. Does that answer your question, Chris?
It does. I mean, so like when I look at like the networking piece, it like all ties in together. So I look at the networking as a way to warm up the letter and to warm up the email. So when your name comes across, it, you know, there's some social proof there already. But yes, so that was the reason why I asked that question.
Okay. All right, fine. Well, the networking is the whole process and it sets the stage, okay, for everything you do. Okay, that includes your resume, your elevator pitches, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all intertwined. But thank you
Oh,
for
I
the
agree
question.
100%. Yep.
Appreciate it.
And I would echo what you said about it, the power of it coming down from above, because my very first job, my as an actuarial student at Equitable, I had been in for an interview. I know I was ruled out. And then a couple of days later, I got a call asking if I could come back before I left for California. And the reason that happened was because a friend of the family, who was CEO of a major company, wrote to a senior VP at Equitable, who was an actuary, and on my behalf, and said, I hadn't asked him to, but he said, I'm going to write to my old friend, and I'm sure that that request came down to the hiring manager saying, this is someone you should take a serious look at. And so I got a second chance and then got the job.
It always works that way, John. You got it.
Carolyn asks, would this strategy be the same if there was an actual role? This direct mail strategy you're talking about.
I would do two things. Yes. Number one, I would send the letter based upon the research that you've done, and I'd also, apply for the position. There's a redundancy, which is fine. You get your name out there twice. Why not? Okay? The rest of the job search process, going back through here, the number one is to network, network, network. Utilize your recruiters. You want to develop a powerful LinkedIn profile and develop an internet presence. What I mean by the internet presence is that you want to have people recognize you. And you do that through the internet by posting some of, articles if you want, uh, write a post, comment on other people's posting. I would comment when somebody would write something. I wouldn't just hit the like button. In the like button, what happens, your picture shows up. I think it's till the sixth person liked it, and then you become three dots. So if you comment about the post, your post and your picture stays with that comment on the whole track of that whole post. So that's what I would do with the internet. Get out there and get your name known.
And don't just comment, great article.
Yeah,
Give
name
like a
something
one
good.
a one line, something you liked about the something specific you liked about the article, or comment on some point in it. Show that you've actually read it, because you won't get visibility as um, contributing to the discussion if all you do is click like or say good article.
Yeah, be a thought leader. Show your thoughts out there. Let people know who you are and that you're always thinking about different things. You want to use AI to tailor your resume, okay, to compare the job posting to your resume, et cetera, and to do your research. Okay. ChatGPT, most popular one I think out there. You could do a lot of research about companies on ChatGPT, what's going on with them. So consider that as part of your job search process. You want to develop what I call KPIs, as these are the goals you want to establish for yourself in your job search. And what you want to do, you want to monitor them weekly. And what I suggest to my clients is to create a 2-week search matrix of for the next 2 weeks. And I put each day down and say, all right, for week one, I want to have to attend so many networking groups. For week two, I want to do so many networking groups. I also want to contact in week one so many people. In week two, so many people. I'd like to be able to respond to different job ads, week one and week two. Throw down some numbers that you feel will help you monitor your success, how many interviews I want. And then every week on one day, and I used to take Sunday, compare the KPIs that you set for that week to what you actually accomplished that week. And then add another week on to the future second week. So you always have a 2-week moving plan for your job search, and you are continually evaluating the past week at the end of the past week to what you set and what you actually accomplished. It will tell you if if you're progressing, maybe you have to change your strategy, maybe you have to do something else, but you'll see it really helps you stay focused on your job search. You want to prepare for your interviews. I call them par V stories. I know John calls them hero stories. Um, you want to create little snippets on what you will talk about during your interviews. These are your success stories. My par V is basically problem, an action to the problem that I've taken, the result of my action to the problem, and the V is the value to the company of the result of my action to the problem. And I create these par Vs, and some of them I would include actually on your resume. But these are the things you want to discuss during your interview. And also on your interview, you want to find out when you schedule an interview, who will you be speaking with? What is their role in the hiring process? How long do you expect the interview to take? And once you know who the interviewers are and their roles, do research on them. See what their background is. See what their likes are. See if you have anything in common with them. Because once you find something in common, it makes that connection. Because on your interview, not only do you want to show people that you are a thinker and that you have the skills that they want, you also want to create a connection or a likability so they know, hey, this is a good person that I want on my team. They're going to work with you 8, 10 hours a day. They want to like you. If they don't like you, they're not going to hire you. So keep that in mind. And one way to do that is during these interviews, when you start seeing that you have something in common, that's the thing to utilize during the interview. I had an interview once with an owner of a company. I was prepping and I was talking to people about him. The person was going to interview me, and I was told he's very arrogant and that he's going to hit you with lots of questions, and he's not going to let you even stop. Well, I went to see him for an interview. I did my research. I knew some things about him. I knew it was his office because his name in big bold letters were on the outside door. So I knew it was his office. And we got in for the interview, and there it started. He started hitting me with a question here and a question there, a question there. It was like dodging bullets, so to speak. And after about his fifth question, I peered over to the side on his credenza, and in a glass case, there was a New York Jet football helmet. And when Don hit me with the next question, I went like this. Don, excuse me, I'll answer that question in a second, but I'd like to know that helmet over there, is that Joe Namath's helmet? And a big smile came across his face. And he says, yeah. He said, are you a Jet fan too? Oh, yeah, I'm a big Jet fan. I follow the Jets, blah, blah, blah. For the next 45 minutes, all we talked about were the Jets. Didn't talk any more about the job, the responsibilities of the job. And I got hired because he liked me. So you really have to know what the interviewers you want to like, what their likes are, what they're all about.
So Marty, what do you say to the person who says, "Well, yeah, but they didn't tell me who I'm going to interview with"?
That's you basically have to, position yourself then to try to find out what the interview is going to cover. Okay. And that's the best way to do it, to prepare yourself and be flexible. And when you walk in on the interview, first of all, if they're going to put you in someone's office, make sure it's their office and look around the office and observe. If it's their office, they have their name on it, you know it's their office. And let's say they have pictures of tennis players. You might want to drop something in about, hey, I notice all these tennis players. You like tennis? And just try to get to that situation where it's something in common. Okay?
And Nan asked, where do you find that interviewer's interests ahead of time?
There's a couple of ways. Number one, look on their LinkedIn profile. On LinkedIn profile, there's something that says interest. Do that. Do some Google searches on people. You'll find out a lot of information on that. You could also do Chat GPT. That's one. If you haven't already, do a Chat GPT about yourself
Mhm.
and see what people think about you that's out there. Okay. And that's one reason, one way to prepare when people start in questioning you. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. You want to participate in these interviews. They are not interrogations. They're interviews. So you want to prepare yourself and ask questions that you want answers for, that you want to know about, and make the questions open-ended, not yes or no questions. Make it so that the other person will be talking to you and telling you what's going on. Right? Part of the process then will become to negotiate your job responsibilities and the compensation for the position. And then once you got everything done and they give you an offer, then you want to accept the offer. And once you do that, you want to establish the priorities for the next 90 days. So you know you could hit the road running and you can find out what's success, what do you consider success after the first quarter. And this will help you in your development in the position. But coming back to your search that we're all in, is this a bad time? You have your job search depression to get over. Think about this. During this time, you have an opportunity to reevaluate your career goals. You know, you might be in, I'm going to call it sales. Let's say you're in sales. When did you decide that you're going to become a salesperson? Was it when you went to college in your sophomore year, in your junior year? How old were you at that point? 19, 20? And you decide what you're going to do. How much business experience did you have at 19, 20? Think about it. And you graduate, you become a salesperson, you go to the next job, you're a salesperson. You do two or three jobs more, and you say, hey, do I really want to become a salesperson? This is an opportunity where you could possibly reevaluate your career. Okay. You could develop along the way new skills and enhance your current skills. You have time to attend webinars, seminars, take different skill classes along the way. You want to stay occupied. You want to get to know yourself better. You have an opportunity now to turn your weaknesses into strengths. You sure get to meet a lot of new people, and you could listen to what they have to say. Okay. Think about what they have to say. You learn from them, and you will find new opportunities. Okay. Possibly new successes. So my evaluation being in transition is really a good time. It's an opportunity to change paths and to find things that you really, really like to do. And when you find something that you have a passion for and you are doing it, most times you will be very successful at that.
And to one of the points you made there that a lot of time we get trapped by the things that we are good at, and we've been good at them since college, and so we just automatically put those out as part of our marketing package. But maybe there's some things that I'm really good at that I'm not excited about anymore. Why would I want to continue to make that front and center in my search? Well, this is a time to say, really good at regulatory compliance, but it's not exciting to me. Let me downplay that. Let me not make that the cornerstone, one of the first points in my resume and my search, because if I do, I will continue to get opportunities in regulatory compliance. So let me reshape my package.
But very good point, John. You know, it also allows you to see things on things you no longer want to do. Okay. Um, a friend of mine was coaching an individual who was in marketing and was laid off from his marketing position. And in doing that, he was looking at himself and he decided these are the things that he really didn't want to do anymore. He lived in Connecticut. He did not want to commute to New York City. And what happened was that he was getting drawn more and more into New York City. And he found this is not something I'm going to do. And as a result of it, with his networking, etc., different ways he went about his job search, he found a position that was like 15 minutes from his house. So think about it, okay, as you go through. How do you stay positive now between your successes, as I call it? Number one, believe in yourself. You will land, everybody. As long as you apply yourself, you will land. Focus on the things you can control. The stuff that you cannot control, let it go. Okay. Think of the things that you could control and control them. Remember, every rejection you get leads you closer to an exception, to an exception. Okay. You only need one accept. That's all you did. When I used to get no's, I was somewhat happy about it because I said, yeah, I'm getting closer to a yes. It sounds weird, but that's what happened. And sure enough, it's a matter of time and it's a matter of statistics. And the more no's, you're getting closer to that yes. If you are rejected, don't be upset about it. It's not your personality. It's probably the fit. It's not your skill set, rather. It's generally that, you just didn't fit in with the company, what they're doing. Okay. There's also in this situation a lot of different discriminations. Okay. We could talk a whole afternoon on age discrimination. Okay. And I have actually a whole presentation on that. Um, but you know what happens? It's not your ability. It's generally that you don't fit in for one reason or the other. Uh, and a lot of people now are getting ghosted. So just understand that's going to happen. Okay, I don't think it's the right thing, but that's what's happening, especially with the recruiters. Okay, so expect to be ghosted. Expect that people aren't going to get back to you. Don't necessarily, say, okay, I'm going to accept it, but just, expect this is what's going to happen. understand that you're in transition situation is only temporary. You're going to land. Okay. The more you work at it, the quicker you're going to find the success. Okay. You want to take the actions that you can. Okay. You want to meet with the people. You want to make the calls. You want to make the connections. You want to put together your documents. Okay. You want to volunteer. When you volunteer at things, you're going to meet people and there's not going to be any gatekeepers. You're going to meet people who generally have the same type of attitude or mission that you believe in. So follow that and think strategically. What I tell people, if the job specs, you have 75% or more of the job specs, apply. Don't expect to have 100% of the job specs. Apply to anything that you have 75% or more. Stay away from negative people. Negative people are going to bring you down. Okay. You want to stay positive. Stay away from negative people and be
Yeah,
grateful for the things that you have in life that are nice, that are good things. Okay. Look at the positive, not the negative.
yeah, the negative could bring you so down. One of my very early clients invited me to come speak to a group that he was part of. And as we left the group, I said, never go back there. This group, they just want to complain. This is going to bring you down and destroy your psychology for your search.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation. I'm fortunate. There's one group that I have in Connecticut, and I recently joined it probably now about 2 months ago. And every meeting that we have when we meet twice a week rather, there's a lot of energy in the room, and you feel it. People are really positive, okay? And it makes a difference. So be positive, everybody. Okay. Maintain your health. Okay. Always consider your health. You want to exercise. You want to, sleep and eat correctly. Stay healthy. Okay. When you're healthy, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. Okay. And be patient. As I said earlier on, your search will take time. So don't expect it to happen yesterday. It's going to take a while to go through this process. Okay. Keep a life balance. Okay. Remember, you cannot search 100% of your time. You need time to relax, you need family time, and you need your search time. Take a break if need be. Relax, but stay focused on your search, especially if you have target companies. I do not recommend what some people do, which is the shotgun approach. They'll apply to everything. Okay. I think you're hurting yourself. You're wasting a lot of time. Okay. Apply for the positions that you feel you really want. Okay. Or that you're a good fit on. Don't just apply to everything just because I need a job. Okay. Do interesting things. Take walks, visit different places, go to a museum, go to a movie, do something. ABC, always be positive. Everybody lands. Okay. You currently have a job, everybody. Everyone on this call is employed. Believe it or not, you're all employed. Your current job is to find that next job. And that means you're generally going to work 35 to 45 hours a week in searching for your next job. Okay. You are in between successes. Remember that. Getting through this process, you have a job. Realize that. Create some structure Set your weekly goals, as I've said. Monitor your goals and adjust them as you go through this. Do yourself a favor. Keep a daily journal of the things that you do and the positive things that you've done. And on those times when you don't feel great, open up the book and read a page or two of your journal to stay positive. You want to get into a daily routine. You want to get up as if you're going to work, dress professionally. It's not a day spent in sweats all the time. Get dressed. Okay, get dressed as if you're going to work. Okay, feel good about yourself. Stay active. As I said, exercise. Get support by attending your networking groups. Try to get a mentor. Go to coffee meetings. Okay. When you're in transition, you drink a lot of tea or a lot of coffee, but you're always meeting with people. Volunteer. Help people. You meet some interesting people. Okay. You can get a part-time job, but if you're going to get a part-time job, what I recommend, try to get one that you're passionate about. If you like wine, maybe you get a position, a temporary position in a wine store. Okay. If you like athletics, maybe you could get it in a sneaker store. Things that you like to do. Okay. Try to get a position like that. Um, you want to attend webinars and seminars to increase your skills and maybe you get new skills or enhance your current skills. Think positive. What you also could do, if you haven't thought about it, you could do some meditation. It only takes maybe a minute or so just to relax your mind and your stress. That's all you need. Very simple. Sometimes you might need a career coach. If you do, think about it. There are different types of career coaches. Okay, even professional athletes have coaches. Okay, but do you want a coach who does everything? I'll call that a utility coach. Or do you want a coach who will only train you, let's say, in interviewing skills or in developing your resume or your LinkedIn profile, okay, or networking? Coaches do lots of things. It's up to you to think if you feel you need one. Go out and seek one. What's going to motivate you? Think about it. Right? Most people today, they lost their job more than once. Okay, it's not you. It's the way the system is today. It's going to be tough and it's going to be long, your search. So keep that in mind and just accept it.
It's a marathon.
It's a
It's not a
marathon. That's
sprint.
for sure. It's not a sprint, not at all. Okay. Companies and recruiters may not get back to you. Understand that. Don't get frustrated about it. It happens. Give them a call. What I have always said is that you're going to if you deal with recruiters, and you should interview the recruiters.
Mhm.
Find out how many positions they have filled, let's say, in the last 3 months. Ask them that. Ask them how they like to deal with you. Do they want you to call them maybe once a week or twice a week? Or are they going to tell you, well, I'll call you when I find something? If they say that, you call them anyway, maybe every 2 weeks. Okay? You want to establish a relationship with these recruiters. Okay? Don't be in the dark. If you're not happy with that recruiter, look for another one that you will be happy with. Okay. And this is an important factor to understand. Okay. If you are in transition, okay, it's not a reflection of you. It generally comes out to two things. Either the company that you were working at has financial issues and they want to increase the bottom line, so they terminate people, or they did not recognize your value to them, the value that you added to the company. It's their loss of great talent. People. People are the best asset in a company. Remember that. And you are a valued employee at companies. If they don't recognize that, it's time to find an organization that will, because you add value wherever you go. I have not found a company yet that likes to pay their employees just because they like to give them a paycheck. You have to increase value. And we get these employment numbers again, I hope, once a month. What's the employment market look like? What does the job market look like? Okay. Well, unemployment's 4%. No, it's 4.7%. No, it's 5.2%. I'd like to know who's the 0.2%. That's number one. Okay. And remember this, two things. Number one, when you get the information on the job market, it's going to be revised in 3 months. It always is. That's number one. So the numbers that come out, you could use it as a guide, but it's not gospel. And number two, those numbers do not matter. There's only two numbers in the employment market for you, 100% and 0%. If I am working, it is 100% employment. If I am not, it is 0%. And that's all that matters. So don't worry and don't be distracted by these other numbers that are coming out. You could use them as a guide, okay? But don't worry about them. It's either 100% or 0%. And the other thing, do not sit back and just use one of the channels in the job search market, meaning the job boards. The job boards, in my mind, is a big black hole. Okay. There are thousands of people who are applying for the same position you are. Don't be vanilla. Be strawberry. Find another way to contact people and get the position you want. Take a break. Okay. Take a break if you're having a bad day. Go for a walk. Call up a friend. Okay. Have a coffee meeting. Meet somebody. Don't be negative. You will land. Okay. Write down the compliments you get and connect with new people and find out what's happening with those people. Okay. Talk with them. Listen to what they have to say. Engage with them. This is a great opportunity to meet more and more people in different walks of life. Okay. If you're being worn down, well, get yourself back up. Identify the issues that you're experiencing. Are they physical problems or mental problems? Okay. Take a day off. Rejuvenate. Okay. Remember, you cannot control everything. Control the things that you can. The rest, let go. Okay. Employers may not be getting back to you. What you don't realize is that one reason they're not getting back to you is that they might have another priority. Hiring is generally not their number one priority. They have business issues all the time. So think about that. Get a temporary job that you're passionate about. Get away from your computer. Okay. Get away from it. Don't stay in front of it, all day. Okay, what you might want to do is that you could set up alerts on your computers for the job titles that you want so that those positions will come to you. Okay. You could set them up and you could look at your computer before the day starts. Okay. Okay. You want to do it outside of money time. Money time is the 8 to 5 period. Okay. Those are the times, where you possibly, you're looking for the position, you're talking to different people. That's what you want to do. Contacting the companies, if you have a contact in the companies, generally that's in non-money time, if you can, before 9 o'clock in the morning and after 5. There's nobody else around to pick up the phone except those people, the executives. Okay. Volunteer, help other people. Lots of things to volunteer at. Pursue a hobby. There are other things in life than your job. Network with positive people. Network with positive people, not negative. They'll only bring you down. Help others in their search. It's really rewarding. And get yourself what I call a work search buddy. At least one. Someone else is going through transition. Oh, you could, speak to on a regular basis. How's your day been? You getting any leads? Have you thought about this? Let's talk about it. You're both in the same, you have something in common. You are both in the same situation and help each other. Be compassionate with each other. And
Just choose one who's upbeat.
what was that?
Just choose someone who's upbeat.
Most definitely. Okay. Now that you've landed, you think about this. What is my 90-day focus on my new job? What are my priorities? What am I going to have most impact in the next 90 days? So they'll say, you're really successful and really helped the company. Get to know your coworkers, network with them, see who are the important people to work with, who are the most influential people in your coworkers. Think about that. ABC, continue to network with people outside your company. Connect, continue to connect with others. And when you land, make sure you thank the people who have helped you land. Let them know that you've landed and thank them. Thank them for helping you reach the right people. Thank them for their suggestions. Thank them for their support. But let them know, okay? And let everyone know that you've landed, okay? Let them share in your success and your good feelings. This way you could update people in your network on where you are now, your next success. Keep your resume updated. Okay. You're a month into the new position. You might be doing something new. Update your resume. Remember, everybody, being in transition is your permanent job. Landing is only temporary. Keep that in mind. Stay involved with the things that make you happy. Okay. Stay happy, everybody. Just to wrap up, job search depression exists. Recognize it and avoid it. My favorite quote, being in transition is your permanent job. Landing is only temporary. remember that the job search process takes time. Understand that. You will get through this process successfully as long as you continue to pursue it. Stay positive. This is really, in my opinion, and I think if you reflect on it, you'll see this is really a good time for you. In spite some of the downsides of it, there are a lot of upsides, and this is something to keep in mind. Your current job is to find your next job. Everyone here is working. Okay, everyone here is employed. You have a job, everyone, to find that next success. Always be positive and be prepared. Negative people do not get hired, and be prepared at any time because job opportunities pop up at any time. And just remember your ABC. Always be connected to people in your network and continue to be connecting to new people to bring into your network. You will land. Everyone lands if you work at it. This is my contact information, people. Okay, the best way to get me, really, Marty Latman at Gmail, or this is my cell phone. This is my website over here. And if you have not linked in with me, I strongly encourage you to link in with me. Here's my LinkedIn URL, so to speak. I welcome people. Just let me know that you were on the Beacon presentation. Okay.
Beacon is a national community of senior-level business leaders committed to sharing, helping, and learning. To find out more, go to beaconforlife.org.